What's happening, everyone? Welcome to Thursday Night Airbrush Down and Dirty Tricks. Running a little late tonight. Wanted to give Dave a chance to finish his feed. He had a lot of technical stuff going on. I want to let him get through all the technical stuff before I started. He's still doing some picks and things like that. So hopefully you guys who are over there come over here after. But I want to get this thing kicked off and get this thing started. And am I recording? Yep, I'm recording. We got that going on. Let's see who we got in the house. We got Dan Mayer. Howdy. Big Squatch. Yeah, man, we'll talk about that mixer. You can message me about it. It's awesome. I love the thing. A lot of tattoo artists use that mixer, and that's kind of what it was designed for, but it works amazing for the Createx. Mike, you can make me a pizza as well. Alley-oop, what's going on? From Honduras. What's going on, man? Thank you for popping in. I got a friend of mine, he's got a cigar brand out of Honduras. That's where his stuff is grown. We got John. How's it going? All right, we got some people in the house. We got 30 over here. We got my mom over on Facebook. Happy almost birthday, Mom. My mom's birthday is tomorrow, so if you guys are on Facebook or pop over to Facebook, say happy birthday, my mom. And, yeah, alley-oop. Yeah, Dave was doing a quick live feed on Facebook. Big Squatch, go on Instagram. I'm under there on the Scott McKay or Facebook. Or you can go to my website, email me from there. It's scott@thinairgraphics.com. From Mexico, thank you for popping in, Louise. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I got some friends down there too, in Puerto Vallarta and a few other cities that I need to visit someday. Very, very much would like to visit. Let's see, we got Flex Herrera. Yep, everything's well, everything's doing good, everything's doing good. And Mr. Leahy, cheers, Steve. Thanks for popping in. How's the sound, everyone? Sound good? Video decent? Everything look all right except for my ugly mug? We doing all right? Yeah, so Big Swatch, it's scott@thinairgraphics.com, which is spelt. Let's see if I can get this up here. That's McKayFineArt.com. I don't have that one. So it's THINAIRGRAFX.com, which is this company website. Email me there or catch me over online. So let's talk about what's going on tonight here. We have, obviously, our sponsors and people who we take care of because we love their products. You know, when I say sponsors, these guys aren't paying me. A few of them are, a few of them aren't. It's, but they supply me with material or tech or whatever I need. So this is just all what I prefer to use. So I'm not getting paid to say this. I've been using this stuff for decades and years. And so Fisheye Filter, he's one of our big guys. Iwata Airbrushes, Createx Colors, FBS tapes and sprayers. Obviously, we use a lot of their masking, the sprayers, and everything else. Vision Air, which is my easel and my whole rack system I have here, which you guys have seen. And it's all available for Coast. Coast Airbrush is where I get all my supplies, teach everything, and all that fun stuff. So, what am I using for colors tonight? Let me talk about what I'm using for colors tonight. Paint list. So, I've talked about it a lot. Whenever I paint, when I'm using Createx, I typically use a 4-to-1 mixture of 40-20 to 40-11. I'm an automotive solvent guy by nature, so I like that extra heat, the 40-20. But the 40-20 is not necessary all the time, so, or at least full strength. So I find a 4-to-1 mixture has been perfect for what I'm doing. I strain all my paint, so I mix it, let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes put a little 40-50 in there, depending on the color. Or especially for candies. I pretty much switched over 40-50 for everything from the 40-30. I just like it overall better. And so then I strain everything into my airbrushes or into another cup. So, you know, I'm using one mixing cup, then I do a second mixing cup after that. So, London Paint, what's going on, man? London Paint, I mean, I'm glad you got that panel. I'm always leery when it's going to another country. I'm glad it made it safely. Hope the gold looks awesome still. And, yeah, I think we're all good. Get here. And let's see. And it's hot today, man. It's hot up here. this is the first day we just got crushed. It just went from like 40s last week, a couple nice days, and then today was 89 degrees. So my studio up here, which for those you know is the third floor of my house, is where the recording studio for this is. And it was 89 up here a few hours ago. It cooled off a little bit, so yeah. So it's went down to 83, and it's dry. It's 25% humidity up here, so it's dry. So yeah, that's what we got going on. So let's show you what we are painting tonight. Oops, that is the wrong button. Go to this one here. I'm gonna pull this down. And this is what we're going. Do I have the big? Let's see if this one works. Where is it? No. Is it? Yeah, it's a small one. Yeah, so I put out a post earlier. I didn't get really many replies, so I just have a library of ideas. Have you ever worked with Limelight products? I've messed around a little bit. Most of his stuff, from what I've seen, is private labeled versions of other stuff that's out there. So I can't speak to it as far as longevity and use. I know his tapes are nice, and I find the FBS is superior level. But he's got a lot of other stuff out there on the market, which a lot of guys who do that now is just you find something out there, you put your name on it, sell it on Amazon. It's great. It makes it easy to find stuff. Well, the hobby store seems to be decent. I'm using Green Stuff World. I don't know Green Stuff World. Haven't messed with that. Michelle Miller, what's happening? Yeah, no, I'm not familiar with Green Stuff. There's so many different products now on the market. It's crazy. I've been fortunate. I've been in this game a long time, so I've worked with a lot of the mainline companies for so long. And there's so much stuff on the market which is either just rebranded or private label. A lot of times it's the same stuff. It's just repackaged. So not to say it's bad stuff. It's just, I haven't used a lot of it because it's easy to put your name on something now. It's something I've been reluctant to do, but maybe I should, because probably make more money if I just put my name on a bunch of stuff and just sell it on Amazon. But I just haven't done that yet. It's a great marketing way to do it. It's a great one-stop shop for all the viewers, but I just haven't done that yet. But never say never. Let's see. So I drew up. I had a few ideas, and I have a big reference library of just stuff. So I did an octopus, and did a skull. I've done octo skulls before. Past couple weeks, I've just been wanting to. I've been doing the technical stuff, and the technical ones came out good, and I've got some good videos out of it. I got a lot of editing to do. Video one's really good at editing. I may need some more help, yeah. So I just want to paint something, and I didn't. Pretty much, yeah. It's not like they don't so Limelight is not a company that manufactures their own tape. Meaning it's rebranded from a brand that's already in existence that brands for a lot of different companies. So like J-Tape, Limelight, a few other companies. It's just rebranded. It's not that it's bad. It's just it's like it's even like in vinyl. So when you get a lot of store brand vinyls or different vinyls, it's it's made by one company, but like 5 different companies label it. So. Yeah, it's just doesn't make it bad at all. It's great tape. It works great. I found like the J-Tape line I liked, but the FBS was more supple and it had a different liner, so it actually stretched and moved easier for me personally. But it's still leaps and bounds better than 3M and a lot of the other stuff that's out there. So the Limeline's good stuff. All right, so about an hour and 45 minutes to the feed. I had no idea what I was going to paint. So I just I prepped this panel earlier. It's just a blue sealer. So I took Createx white sealer, Autobahn sealer. I put a little bit of blue in it, and then I tinted it with a little splash of Viridian green. And I got this kind of tealy blue kind of color. Because I kind of was going to either maybe do a koi or a dragon or a fish or an angler fish or lionfish. I had kind of a fish idea, And then, so Fish Idea led into, let's do another Octopus. I haven't done Octopus in a while. Last one was really cool. Last one was really technical. This one I want to be looser. So I just sketched this quick in the computer. Because I just have a whole library of different things. Just kind of sketched it up. And then went from there. So, let's talk about, let's do this. So let's talk about how you transfer images, okay? It's a question I get a lot. It's always been a question. I've done it a dozen times. A lot of times I do it half it off camera. This time I'll do it all on camera so you can see how it's really done. There's a million ways to do it for transferring an image you've already drawn onto a surface, okay? So you can use Sorel paper, graphite paper, which I don't use graphite paper. I would use Sorel on motorcycles and cars. On canvas, you can do whatever you want. Motorcycles and cars are a little more finicky, so I like the Sorel because it doesn't have the oils or greases in it. That'll mess up your clears. Best method for transferring I found. Print it out on paper, okay? I print it out usually a couple times so I have it. And then I flip it over. Really super soft pencil. This is one of the woodless graphite pencils. This is a 8B, so it's super soft. And I make my own transfer paper, my own graphite paper. The other thing you can do is you could just trace it out, like put it on a light table and trace it, and then just transfer the lines instead of doing the whole transfer, like the whole sheet. But I find it just as easy. You know, put the whole thing on here. I like these woodless ones because you can get a really big swatch of graphite on there. It's not lead. I do actually have some lead pencils though, some really cool old ones that were my grandfather's that are cool. And it's funny, you know, this is something I never used to do. On a dark surface, I'll use chalk. I'll actually just rub the back of it with carpenter's chalk. I used to always use like a Sorel or some transfer paper. And then I was at an Airbrush getaway teaching with Armando Hirata, who's no longer with us, the Dark Lord of Pinup himself. And there was another couple illustrators in, I forget their name, and as well as Lorenzo Spralonga. And, you know, they sketch their images, they size them up, they do all their work, and they do this. They basically just coat the back. Like, they coat it like serious, like coat. And so I kind of watched them do it for a while. Like, it's cheaper, it's easier, just get some pencils. Now, the trick I learned from watching them was this. They don't just leave it like this and transfer, because there's a lot of loose stuff on here. They take this, at this stage, and they just kind of get the excess off, but also kind of spread it out, and it won't be so chunky on your surface. You know, it won't leave a lot of residue behind, and what it also won't do, like every time you touch it, it won't leave a whole bunch. So yeah, it's after you do it, just do this to it, and you're kind of getting all that loose excess off, and it won't contaminate your project. Because graphite, when you start doing this graphite transfer onto a panel, like if you're too heavy, a lot of times you'll transfer fingerprints and things like that onto it. So by taking that excess off, it's really, really good. I got 45 in here tonight. Thank you everyone for popping in. I think my mom's still watching. Mom, you still on? She's over on Facebook. For those just joining, it's my mom's birthday tomorrow, so if you go over to my Facebook version feed, give my mom a nice happy birthday shout out. Brian Gajikian's in the house. Okay, so now once that's done, did you paint? No, I didn't paint the Visionaire. Why? Some people had a white, like an off-white background, and then some people had gray. He did gray later on. Oh, yeah, Wondering 3, the trace coat. So, Allie, the trace coat would work, but the problem with that stuff is, when that's on your surface, it's on there. The nice thing about the graphite, if you use some mild wax grease or some removes, it'll take excess off. But it would work. I have used it in a pinch. I do not really recommend it because it does stay behind, whereas the graphite you can kind of really get off a lot easier. Yeah, so they originally were white, and then when they started doing the later ones, Michelle, they started going this neutral gray, because a lot of the photo illustrator guys and gals like Drew Blair and Marissa, and they wanted more of a neutral gray for their backing, just so it wasn't on a white background. So, yeah, this is a gray. All right, so thank you, Michelle. Yeah, we're going to take Mom out tomorrow night for her birthday. So, see how we got transferred? There's nothing on here yet. And what I want to do is I'm going to use a pen. I learned this from, I think it was... Oh, man, I just drew a blank. Gold leaf. Gary Jensen. I think it was Gary Jensen was talking about this. And instead of using it like when you're doing transfer, don't use a pencil. Because as you go through the pencil, the point gets softer and softer, then you get a big transfer. Always use a pen. And the pen, will always stay the same point of transfer. So now I'm just going to do one line and test it. Yep, I can see it. It's really strong here. So I don't need to bear down heavy. I try not to bear down too heavy. And I'm trying to keep it loose. I'm just tracing the big stuff. I'm going to take my, I'm going to show the reference instead, because you don't need to see my face. So I kind of hit the big items. Make sure I can see it. I can see it here. I'm not sure if you can see it well on camera. Make sure. I thought about painting my vision there. So I wouldn't paint it. If you were going to do this, I would send it to a ceramic coater or powder coater, and because ceramic coat, the water-based reducers or lacquer thinners won't mess with it. They won't eat it. So I would send it to like a Cerakote or ceramic coat place, or a powder coat. It'll hold up a lot better. Because like every week I do this feed, I wipe this off with like isopropyl alcohol afterwards. And when I'm doing solvent, I just use a lacquer thinner. Can you guys hear the frogs in the background? I'm going to be quiet for a second. Let's see if I turn the gains up. I don't know if you can hear them, but I can hear them. Frogs are all hatching out back. It's warm. I got a good amount of wetland up behind my house. Yeah, you can clear armor. I would probably just I'd prefer ceramic coat, because I have some ceramic coat stands and stuff in my studio that are years old, that when I tell you I rub them down with lacquer thinner, nothing happens to them. It's amazing. For those of you who work with me, you know I'm not a neat person, and I'm hard on my gear. And the fact that they've held up this long is amazing. But you can see I'm just putting light pressure. If I put heavy pressure, I find it actually puts it on too heavy. But you can see, I think you can see, yeah, you can see that really well, right? Gary Sheafs, what's going on, man? Yeah, so you can see how nicely that transfers, okay? And use a nice graphite pencil. Try not to use a really waxy one. So, like, I'm a pencil snob, as you can. So, like, I typically draw and sketch with black wings, which are super snobby, and I know, and it's fine. I'm a snob when it comes to pencils. Black wings are amazing, and they got the square erasers, which are cool. The problem with black wings is they're kind of waxy. It depends on which generation. So I don't recommend black wings for drawing on motorcycles or something automotive related, because that waxiness, I've never tested it, but I don't want to find out the hard way by finding out that they got too much wax content and it'll contaminate my surface. So I don't use it. Makes sense. If anyone has any questions, feel free to pop them out there. Like I said, I'm really trying to keep tonight loose and fun, and even this drawing is very loose. I just want to do it all with the airbrush and really mess around with it. And maybe, you know what, we'll do another tentacle here. Just kind of coming around, just kind of fill that negative space. Also on YouTube, can hear him. Yeah, so you can hear him, John. I can hear him now. I turned the gains down, so hopefully they're a little bit less, but I got to keep my skylights open. It's so hot, but I have there's 18 acres behind me and the neighbor, and right up to the back of my property is all wetland. And the frogs are coming out. You can hear them all night. You can hear the owls at night. I think we're good. So the nice thing about doing it this way, the nice thing about doing the transfer from this is when I use this as a paper cut stencil, which I will do, whatever I cut on this lines up with my drawings perfectly because I'm using the same reference. But that's it. That's the way you transfer your paper sketch onto your substrate, meaning a car, motorcycle, things like that. This even works well if you draw something and paint something on one side of the car. Make yourself a pattern from that, do the same trick, flip it to the other, and then you could do the same thing and flip it onto the transfer tape on that side or directly in the paint. Now you have a balanced image both sides, okay? So you could totally do that. All right, so we're going to take this off. A lot of this I think I'm just going to freehand out. And then maybe I'll just cut some stencils just to sharpen things, but I just didn't want to go too crazy. I can hear the frogs just to the south of my place. Oh, it's funny. Raymond Carson, Spirit Customs. What do we got here? Jediah over on Facebook. Trevor Norton. Where did you get your pencils? Which pencils? So these ones, which I don't know where it just went. Man, these woodless graphite ones, I've had these for years. You can order them online. If you look up, this is General's Woodless Graphite. You can find them. You can get them in every type of pencil grade, from HB to like an 8H all the way to an 8B, 9B, super soft. You can get them all like that. I like them for drawing. I really like these when I'm doing wall murals and stuff because I can like sketch really well. They're soft, and they they almost sharpen themselves by drawing just one side of it, and then you can keep them sharp. So I've always liked woodless pencils. Spirit Customs, I'll use projectors. Yeah, projectors on canvases work really, really well. I love them. Yeah, sometimes like I want my pencil sketch, my pencil drawing to match, because sometimes I take that pencil drawing on paper, and after I transfer it, I start cutting it up and using it as a shield, as a stencil. So I can't do that with projecting. So it just depends on what I'm doing it. There's a million ways to do it. Projectors I love, like when I do American flags on bikes a lot of times, I just take the photographs of American flags and I project them onto a bike and then sketch it from there. That way it's a natural flow, and actually the light curves around the body parts. So I've done that a few times. Alright, let's get into here. And let's get painting. Let's tell you what I got going on here. Okay, like I said, so I'm using my 4011 reducer and 4020, the 4:1. I have a little bit, each one of these colors I put like 5%, 4050 in because I'm painting on a hard surface. So I'm using Illustration Opaque White by Cratex. I'm using Cerulean Blue and Cobalt Blue. I may add a little Illustration Black at the very end to my Cobalt Blue to darken it, but not very much. So let's get painting here. So I got kind of a mid-tone And so I'm gonna start by highlighting things, okay? Because I'm in mid. But what I did with my colors is I started with that white, but I added blue to it. So it's not pure blue. It's not pure white. I do have a pure white mixed up here. Okay, you can see the difference. But when I first start painting, this is going to look like white on this canvas, but this is going to be for the final little highlights at the very end. Alright, and we're just going to, like I said, freehand most of this, and I might cut back in with some loose shielding later. I'm going to use my Eclipse Takumi, but, you know, just because it's side feed, it's got a smaller body, I really love this brush. It's become one of my favorites. Eclipses have always been my workhorse. Whether you're using the standard Eclipse HPCS or this Takumi Eclipse, the head assembly is really the same. The benefit to the Takumi, it's a little shorter of a barrel. As you can see, the length from trigger to here is shorter, so it's just a little bit more reactive. It's a side couple you like. But as far as performance goes, there's really no difference in what you can do with it as far as detail. So, you know, like I said, my main workhorse gun has always been an Eclipse. And to this day, and I've been doing it since 1989, so before some of you guys were around, or knew what an Airbrush was. I've always used that, and it's just been a great gun. As far as pressure, I paint typically higher than most. I like 35 or so. That's kind of where I like to be. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to punch out like a lot of my like core highlights, especially for the like little suckers. See how that looks white? It looks almost pure white. You could have a frog on your desk, and that was still tuning. Dude, we could get a frog up. Oh, you should go get some frogs. We get those little, you know, little tree frog things that just sit and just like they don't move. They like go all like flat. I got those guys, in, you know, out back sometimes. You get them up here, just stick them right to the thing. You like doing a lot of paintings with a lot of curves. Is that what you use? So, Mike, as far as airbrushes, you mean? As far as a lot of paintings, a lot of curves? Yeah, I do a lot of loose work. When I'm doing loose work, I like to start soft and bigger and work my way into tightness. So I typically start with like an Eclipse size or maybe an HPC Plus size brush before I really get into anything super detailed. Especially with the white. Whenever you're painting with white, I don't care whose white it is, white's a thick pigment. And when you try to run white through a micron, it typically gives you some issues. Unless you really thin it, strain it. That was it was a random ad. Huh. I was messing with some settings, and I thought they put the ads in afterwards, because they do that on YouTube, but I must have put one in ahead of time. I'll have to see how often they do that and what that looks like, because I can shut that off, I think. Usually do automotive 124 scales using actual automotive paints. XC5, then convert into a 0.7. Yeah, so the 0.7 is fine. Yeah, the Grex, you need the 0.7 to get anything out of it. I wasn't super happy with their 0.5. See, the 0.7 I found a little lacking as far as how much volume it puts out. You're going to want to reduce the paints. Yeah, I do a lot of 124 scale modeling as far as like, I do a lot of spaceship modeling like Star Wars and stuff. And a lot of it's in the 124. And again, even with that scale, there's so many people going out and buying like micron sized brushes, and you know, you just don't need it. This is also a good time to lay in a little texture. So what do we use for texture? little Gerald Mendez detail templates really come in handy. Especially this one. I love this one. This is the Texture Effects 3. When I'm doing Octopus or like flowing, I love this guy because I can really get in and just add directional texture, like especially on the back of the head here. It's awesome. Yeah, they do the ads when you first turn it on, but they're starting to do mid ads. Let me know if it does it a lot, because I know I can turn them off. There's a benefit for me to having them on, but if it becomes redundant, I'll make sure they're off during the live feeds, because till now they haven't been present in the live feeds. Yeah, the reason I like doing the white now is because I can really pump up the texture, and I can hide any of these lines. And let's see if I can zoom in a little bit harder. You know, I can hide a lot of these lines right now that I'm going to cut back in later on. Yeah, I don't know how the ads work now on YouTube. I've had YouTube Premium for so long, so I use it so much that I just have a premium account. In premium accounts, you don't see any ads at all, beginning, middle, ends. You never see them. So I don't know how the ads even work anymore. So let me know if they're really redundant or they're really intrusive, and I will try to take them off. I'm hoping if you got an ad, it's just one during the live stream for you. That's like, and you know, in the middle, and then it won't give you any more. But like I said, if it starts giving you a lot more, let me know. I apologize. They added some new features that I just checked off a few things, so we might have to change that up. Oh, it's 15 seconds. Yeah, you should be able to skip it. Let me know if it gives you another one in the interim, and if it does, during the feed, because I'm not going to see it here on my end. Like I said, I never see them, because I bit the bullet and did YouTube Premium so long ago that there's no ads that ever play during any video. And YouTube Premium, I actually like it. They have a good selection of movies, especially older ones. Last week I was in like old movie mode. I watched Commando, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I watched One Crazy Summer. I watched I think Waterboy. They just had a whole bunch. Enzo, I'm doing well. Thank you very much for asking. Roadhouse, yeah, Roadhouse will probably be on there. Just like anything, you know, changes. I know they had Spaceballs on a couple weeks ago as an option, so I watched that. I pretty much stream. I cut the cable cord years ago, and I just stream everything. I'm sure at this point I'm probably just paying the same amount I was paying for cable. but I can turn services on and off whenever I want, so I like that. Get to the chopper! Yep. It was so funny because I was watching it, and oh yeah, you get YouTube Music too, which I've never used, but just because we got the iTunes stuff. But yep, and my TV service is through YouTube because I have YouTube TV for all my normal TV. So. Yep. But you see how I'm just kind of shaping this out. Actually, didn't get any when I first tuned in. Thought it was strange, so they do them in process of the feed. So Gary, probably what they're doing, instead of doing it when you first log in, they're probably, because I have it turned on, they'll run it somewhere in the middle. Hopefully it's the only one you get. We got about 5 people on Facebook. Mike Benner, Ricky Martinez, Josh, thank you very much. $100 bid. Is that a bid from you, sir? Officially? Or is that someone else? Did I miss someone? Because we are taking bids, and if we're going to start that, 100 will start it out. And if that's the case, I should probably get a piece of paper. Alright, we have our first bid from FTW BIFY, which we know is Steve. Hi, Steve. I gave Steve's secret away. Alright. So we're going to do Oxskull 2023. So we're at 413. Bid 100. Okay, you're in. The bids have started. I'm going to try to keep up with them the best I can. Kaylee's actually feeling good, but she's not here. I had to go to a volunteer thing. She's going to be volunteering, I think, at the MSPCA. I think it was MSPCA this was for the dogs to take care of some pups. The fun thing about doing these guys is you can really, once you get the basic structure in, you can really mess around with these guys a lot and just do some really cool textures and stuff. They're really fun to paint. I love doing like sea life and octopus and once you get that paint flowing right, you can just buzz through and do some really cool flood strokes. Just build that texture up. I'm so glad I finally got everyone's painting out. This is the first painting since everything went out. Oh, cool, Mike. I'm glad that helped you out. I gotta edit those videos down because between the barbed wire and the barbed wire I'm gonna redo because that one I totally effed that up. At least the way it sounded. But the diamond plate came out great. The rivets all came out good. So I think I got at least 3 or 4 videos there. Octopus and Krakens, yeah, same deal. This is more probably Kraken-ish, and this has got the skull face on it. Let's see if I can focus this camera a little better. There we go. That's better. Oh yeah, people get, see, the likes, don't stress out. I get a lot of them, but like my like shows 0 right now. Yours will show 5. So they don't really show too well during the feed. But thank you. Yeah, make sure you guys like, subscribe, thumbs up, all that fun jazz. All that stuff helps me out. Helps with the algorithm. You know, I teach this stuff, I do this stuff because I like it. And I enjoy coming here every Thursday night and doing it. But making a little money on the side of it is a bonus, and it kind of helps me out. So I'm not going to lie, I do this for the money. Not a lot of money. But something. Gotta have a little something. Squid with hands. That's great. We got 57 people, you guys watching. My subscribers gone up quite a bit. We're at 8,500. My goal is by the end of the year hit 10K. So I think we're on track to do 10K. I think that is achievable. When I was watching this kind of thing on YouTube, it's not really, I don't care about having, I mean, I'd like to have 1 million subscribers, and that's a goal down the road, and 100,000, all those benchmarks. But the subscriber number is only one thing. It's how often you guys are watching is what's more key to me. Okay, how many of you guys are engaged and liking it, and liking the stuff. That's more important than having a high number of subscribers. I want engaged subscribers. I can buy subscribers. Kelvin Jones, thank you, sir. Much appreciated, sir. Thank you for that super chat. Okay, so we're going to come down here. I'm just going to do like another, basically like, I want the whole like tentacle to be down here. And then we're going to darken back here like it's more of the ocean. So doing octopus and things in sea life like this, invertebrates, is keep it loose to start. Almost like doing real fire like on the valley, but loose to tight. Keep everything loose and flowing at the start. Just really get it mapped out and worked in. Michael Cohen, thank you very much. Yay! I hope you can hear that. Yeah, so rim lighting is most important, Big Squatch. So when you're doing underwater light, the rim lighting is key because you have your sunlight coming through the water and it's cascading through the wet medium of water and then rim lighting the edge of your object. And you got your key lighting, obviously, but the rim lighting is that side lighting. Juan, thank you very much. It keeps you on back on the back. Oh, it keeps coming back. Okay. But yeah, man, those super chats help. I mean, they add up over time. You know, I do these, feeds 4 times a month, or 20 here, 20 there, 20 there, by a bunch of different people, and people downloading all my stuff, which you guys have been amazing on the downloads. I wake up in the morning, I see a bunch of people downloading my vectors, and it's great. And by the end of the month, those add up, man. They help. They take care of some bills. You'd be surprised. You like them lighting tips? Just the tips, man. Just a tip. Yeah, we'll give it a little not Gerald Mendes, Jesus. Blah, blah, blah. Dennis Mathewson, bubble template. Love these. Love these. Put them in. Put these little guys, and we'll put a lot of these in later, but we'll put some in for now. They can be background. And this can be on top of the water. Thank you for popping in from Colorado. Thank you, Donnie. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, we got this other. Hello, Colorado. See how loose and fun that was? Nothing but net. Just sketch and paint. Sketch and paint. Zoom, you can zoom back out a little bit on that. We do have a $100 bid on this. Anyone interested? All right. Am I the only Canuck? No, you're not the only Canuck, Allie. Got a few in here. I know London Pen Company's still in. All right. Yep. Let's see here. Let's bring out the other Micron. The other Takumi. And we're going to go lighter color. This is a cerulean blue. So this is the color we're using right now. So the cerulean blue, which I can't read the code on. Oh yeah, there it is. So a 5060 illustration cerulean blue. Now I want this. You know what I'm going to do? Let's go custom. Custom. I don't want the cerulean blue this strong because it's really strong. So I'm going to mix some white into it. And I don't have this one up on camera. John, thank you. I'm going to add, this is 4004 transparent base. So I did like 1-to-1. I did cerulean blue. I did my blue-white mix. I'm going to cut it another in half, basically, with the 4004. So 4004 is transparent base. So what's transparent base going to do? It's going to make it more transparent without making it too thin. I'll add a little more reducer to it. But I never try to add reducer to thin the look of the paint. I only thin for flow. To reduce how bold the paint goes down, that's when you use transparent base. Make sense? So now the paint will still be the same color, but it's going to be less drastic when it goes down. So before I do that, I want to do a paper template. So let's get my cutting board out here. And this is the paper of what we got. And now we're going to take an X-Acto knife. We're going to cut this thing up. Daniel Powers is in the house. What's up, brother man? Good to see you. Excuse me, guys, for 2 seconds. I need to find an X-Acto knife. No matter how many you have, you still lose them. I got it. Danny, thank you for popping in. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to get that background separation now. And I want to kind of make it with a template. So it'll be a little harsh, but I can soften that easier this way. So I'm going to cut out the silhouette. I'm basically going to cut the whole shape of him out. And I'm going to do that basically wherever I put my pen lines. So my pen lines are going to line up perfectly. Pretty much. With, I'm not going to use all of it, but it'll line up mostly with all my airbrush work because I airbrushed where I sketched. So this is why I kind of do it in this method. Oh Jesus, really? X-Acto where you left it. I might have to time you out, sir. Because that was kind of tragic. Like, this is what's, always cumbersome about doing live feeds, about how much of this do I show and how fast do I get through it before I put people to sleep. Because watching people cut paper is pretty much like watching paint dry. It's boring, and I get it. It had to be said. Yeah, I guess it had to be said. Oops. Just for the big stuff, really. This is what I'm really trying to work out. Not trying to do everything. I want to separate like foreground from background is really what I'm using this for. And it's not going to be super exact and super perfect. It's just really, like I said, a lot of times it's just for registration. You know, it's just to get some boundaries that are easy to kind of fill in and work. Just like that. Alright, put this back into position here. So see now, this lines up, and I should be able to loosely get this on here. Now, because I use that pencil, don't like, you gotta be a little cautious here. Don't like slide it around the board too much. Because you'll smear pencil lead. Yeah, Luis, exactly. You know, but it's that fine balance when you keep them. You know, the one issue about YouTube and doing all these videos is, you know, you see a lot of our edited videos where we do a lot of high speeds, we do a lot of clipping. And that's just to keep people interested through some of the redundancy. So I do the lives. It's a balance between what do I want to show live, you know, versus Mr. Mendez. Thank you, Gerald. We got some real big guys in the house tonight. With Gerald, we got Powers. Not Austin Powers. But you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of slicing some of the basics up. And again, I'm not trying to make these like illustration perfect cuts. I'm just trying to get a little dark registration in so I can freehand my way out of it. That's really it. Oh, second ad. Yeah, I'm gonna. Sorry, guys, that won't happen again. I'm gonna make sure those mid ads are taken out. Like I said, it's a new thing that was available to turn on. I didn't think it was gonna be like that many. I thought it might just be a little bit helpful, but seems like a 30-minute thing. Yeah, 30-minute thing seems about right. It seems about a YouTube type of want. And I'm not going to lie, if it benefits me a lot, I might keep it in there, guys. I don't think it's not going to be that much. So on a 2-hour feed, that'd be 4 ads. Yeah, that's a bit much for me. I don't want that in there. I'll take that out next time. I mean, it's basically like when you watch it back on the replay, it'll be, what is WE? It was a WEF. What's WEF? I'm sure the ad is probably different depending on your region. Light me on WEF. So see, now I have kind of that tone in here. World Economic Forum. Huh. Yeah, that's probably a Canada thing. I know there's a way I can go into ad settings and you can control somewhat about what's put out there, or at least US is. Like we can say no political ad, or no, you know, various types of ads. You can kind of go in and dictate what you don't want it to be. I try to keep my politics off social media. I like to keep them off this as well. Yeah, I just, Jesse, if it's, I don't mind one here or there, but if it's gonna be a lot, if it doesn't benefit me that much, then it's not worth having it. Because I know on the replay, you guys watch it, you gotta get ads no matter what I do. So, those I can't do, but during lives might be a bit too much. Because I can't, if I knew when they were coming, like if it gave me a timer, and maybe it does, I have to look. I think the only ads I want to do on here is if companies are paying me directly, like, to talk about their stuff. And I want to do stuff that, like, relates to what we do here. Eric, I'm the same way. I don't see ads because I'm premium. Out of all the services I pay for, I think I find YouTube to be the most valuable. Because I think it's only like, what, $10 a month? It's ad-free YouTube. It's funny. Every time I do Octopus, like, they're really simple to do. Then I start painting them, and I realize how long it takes to. Goddamn. Ooh, sorry. I'm gonna get demonetized if I see that. To edit that out. You realize how long it takes to do all the little setups of these guys, but we'll get through quite a bit of it. We're over the big hurdle now. Now it's fun time. Now it's just draw and paint. Yeah, I mean, YouTube gets pretty ad heavy, Yeah, they're short, but man, when you're watching it a lot, it's pretty ad heavy. Yeah, it's such a fine balance between the ads. Because, what's really happening is so many people aren't watching regular TV. That the ad revenue that companies want to put out is switching over to YouTube, and they're going to capitalize on it. And it's just going to get more and more brutal. So, if you watch a lot of YouTube, man, just get premium. It's worth it because they don't do any ads. And the nice thing is, as a YouTube like content maker, I've looked into it, and we as someone who's monetized, so you get some money off YouTube viewership. We don't get if everyone here was premium and never saw ads, we'd still get the same money. From ad revenue watching as if there were ads, because they calculate the time watched. So, which is cool. We're not losing out. Like, if we have more premium subscribers than not, we don't, as YouTube creators, we don't lose out. I just replaced all my Jaro Mendez effects. Oh, your cat destroyed it? Oh. Yeah, cats must love those things. Just just chomping on them. Oh, that's horrible. You know, just like, you never know. I think, just like the last octopus, this might have to go into 2 feeds too. Oh, awesome, Gerald. Are you teaching your class this weekend? Oh, those cats would be dead. Especially me, since I'm not a cat person. Not a fan. My wife and daughter really want cats, and we have 2 dogs. I'm not having cats with 2 dogs. But someone's going to lose that battle, and I'm going to have to clean it up. And I don't want to clean that battle up. Teaching a lot of private classes, and I'll be teaching group classes at the end of the month. Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, Gerald's projects are amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know how I have a mini schnauzer and a pit bull mix who get along great. I don't know about adding a cat in the mix of that. Even though they both did have cats when they were little, like, because we got these dogs from other people in the family, so. But again, realistically, it's me. I had 8 stitches across my eyelid from a cat that scratched my eyelid wide open and filleted it, that I could see through my eyelid. So I kind of have a thing about cats when I'm sleeping. It was my ex-girlfriend's cat, so. But it did leave a bad taste in my mouth about cats. Waking up to a filleted eyelid is never, Yeah, my boxer pit bull mix would probably love them. And like I said, she was a rescue and she was in a rescue home with cats and dogs. She'd probably be fine. I'm just using an excuse. Because cats are mean. Mean creatures. And they suck the breath out of your lungs when you're sleeping. I saw the movie. Can't lie to me. I know what they are. Demon spawns. It's nice having the warm weather back though, man. Winter's over here finally. But we went right from winter to 89 degrees today. Yeah, that reminds me. If you guys haven't checked out Daniel Powers' stuff, his course is coming along. I think it's being set on like a pre-order right now. Is that right, Dan? Because you're getting it all published and ready, and that's something you guys definitely want to look into. There's going to be some. We're going to work out some special stuff with that as well. Definitely check it out. Feel free, like I said, yeah, feel free to post some links up. So basically what I'm doing now is I went with that white because I was in that mid-tone range. Pop that up. Now I'm pushing it back. And I'm going to work darker. And then I'm going to brighten it back up. Because right now I'm just going to go in and do all the tentacles, all the suckers. And kind of set this up. I'll either finish this next week at the beginning of a video or maybe another night. So I'm just really trying to soft tone everything right now. Yeah, Mike, we didn't get a ton up here either for our normal season, so it was pretty mild. Our temps were brutal, though. The temps were there. We just didn't have the precipitation for the snow. Yeah, so he's got early enrollment right now. So if you guys are interested, go check out Dan Powers' stuff. His program's going to be really good. It's making me jealous I didn't get my stuff going ahead of time. I like the live. I like working live. We're getting this all recorded. We'll have all this nice footage to mess with. So once I get through this, yeah, Western New York, you guys got slammed pretty good. Like so we only got a couple. We got a couple storms that did us, but overall, pretty mild winter comparatively to like growing up and what we used to. But everything's cyclical, man. It'll all come back and bite us in the butt again. Yeah, man, that's the key. We all got programs out. We all got different stuff. We all make the industry better. And just get good content out there is what it's all about. You know, for me, for years, there was so much... I don't mean bad and untalented. I just mean bad as improper. There's a lot of improper, bad information out there in early YouTube on stuff, which I think got a lot of people into bad situations, especially in the automotive world of custom paint. That my goal is to just really put out good quality instruction and information so people aren't running into problems. I think that's the big key, especially the automotive guys. There's so much nuance to it that's different than fine art and illustration that like this guy the other day was working, just doing a door handle on his car. And he's like, yeah, I prepped it with, you know, I think 220, and he was going to go right to paint on it. I'm like, oh, you can't sand with 220 and go to paint. You know, if you're looking at woodworking stuff, guys doing old school lacquer woodwork do that all the time. But automotive, with a pearl, you'll see that constantly. Gary, thank you, sir. Yee. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it. Exactly. And it's a new medium, man. Like a lot of stuff, like your old videos are great. And, you know, now it's time for new versions because some data's changed and some techniques have improved and material. Like me, I have to redo my whole plotter mastery program that I did through Airbrush Action. Just the core's all still there, but just the programs have changed, and there's newer ways and faster ways to do it. You know, there's more efficient ways to do it, so it's time to update it. You know, this would have been a really cool painting on a Lumalore panel. Should have done that. Or a ground aluminum one. I haven't done a ground aluminum piece in a long time. I see Gerald's ground aluminum pieces. And AD Cooks. I don't know if you follow AD Cook, man. You follow AD Cook and the grinding, the female form portraits he's been doing are just stunning. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Michael. It's like you don't want to put paint, especially pearls and metallics, down to your up to like the 600 range. Yeah, maybe I should do a Lumalore feed. I have so much of it. I have a bunch of panels prepped. I'll get one done. Fine. Lumalore's coming up soon. That one, I think the reason I haven't done a Lumalore one, it's been in my head for a while, is I'm going to have to mess with the cameras a lot. So like what happens when the light goes on versus off, because there's a frequency, they do emit some frequency. So I got to almost do a full test run first. Before I commit to a feed, because I know there's going to be some issues. Ground metal pieces make me never want to go near to the ground metal piece. Oh, it's so true. Yes, that is the same Daniel Powers. And he's making a whole new series of updated stuff you're going to have to check out, because it's going to make the old ones obsolete. Not obsolete, but, you know, there's a lot of... It's definitely time to improve some footage. $9:30. Someone's getting another ad soon. Sorry about that, guys. No, I shouldn't have clicked that button. They got me. They tricked me. Wonderful land of Oz. That's awesome. Alright, so this is a good start. You know what, I'm going to go, like I said, so this was that kind of milkier version that I made. I'm going to go straight cerulean blue now. Born and bred. Someday I'm going to get over there, man. Want to go do some teaching. Almost worked it out a few years ago, and then it just didn't happen. Cue Star Wars wipe on the feed. I can't put Star Wars wipe on the feed, man. Dude, you so much as put those wipes or audio, man, they demonetize you so fast. Alright, so that was the cerulean blue that was mixed with the white. Now this is straight cerulean blue. This is going to act like almost like a candy. Yeah, man, I'm dying to come out. I would love to come teach some programs out there all around. Take a trip. Maybe bring the family. I know next year we're trying to plan a trip down to Thailand and Japan, just because we really want to see those, and we want to try to plan a couple weeks out. So maybe once we're kind of in that region, just take a pop down. You know, there's no such thing as pop down to Australia, but you know what I mean. So now you see how sharp this color comes up. Even though it's the same color, but now it's not. Now it's more transparent, but it's a really strong blue. So now I can start toning things more and more and building that tone, and that's really the key. And just keep working it until I like it. And then I'll go to that cobalt blue as my darkest blue. Yeah, this is the Eclipse version. I popped the Micron out for a little bit, but because the white is so finicky through it, I just go back to the Eclipse, because running a heavier pigment-loaded paint is actually easier through the Eclipse for this than it is than the Micron. So, yep. I'll probably do 90% of this painting with the Eclipse. And this is all the illustration colors, because I don't need to use the candies here. I could, but then I have to fight a little bit with the candies bleeding into the white, and I'm going to have to use like bleed check. And the benefit to candies really is when you're on metallics and like ground metals, because you can see through it. But when I'm not on that, I just find the illustration colors are just perfect. Yeah, man, Colin, I use the Eclipse probably for 90% of my work. Maybe 85. But I use them like, I don't just say it. And I'm not one of these guys who'll be like, oh, you have to get a Micron, you have to get a Micron, you don't have to get a Micron to get detail. They do certain details easier, especially from illustration and when you're really thin. But if you're a really fast freehand worker like this, you do a lot of automotive, the Microns can sometimes be too finicky. especially the SBs. I would say if you got to use a micron all the time for all around, use the micron CMC, because the .23 is a little bit less finicky than the .18. You know, the .18 is when you're really noodling that detail, man. But when you're doing bigger cars and bigger bikes, you don't need it. And yeah, Gerald's right. You do get to become an addict to it because you get used to it. So sometimes you go back to an Eclipse and you use it and you realize, oh shit, man, I can do a lot of detail with this. You know, and I don't have to thin the paint out as much. I can get, for me, I want to run heavier pigmented paint at times for coverage. And it's more fun. It's easier to do it through the micron. I mean, through the Eclipse, sorry. I need my longer curve template, and I don't have it. It must be in the shop. Yep, it's in the shop. Oh well. I use my Olympus SB, especially. Yeah, the Olympus SBA is very similar. I think it's the same nozzle size. I'm Gerald, and I use a micro. Alright, that's some funny shit right there. And so I'm gonna start wrapping up here for the night. Kind of to show you what I'm doing. So we're gonna focus here for a little bit, because I can pull these same colors out next week and wrap this thing up, and we'll just continue along. And we'll leave the bids where they are. We got Steve at $100 bid for the painting. So basically, I get to this stage and I start toning this back. No green paint. There's no green paint in this one. That's why Gerald stayed so long. Gerald sees green paint, he runs. Hates it. So we're going to go here, and then this is the cobalt blue. And the cobalt blue is going to act almost like black when you get here. And then I come in, so like watch right here. See, that almost looks like black, and it's just, that's the color. But here, it looks like black. Let's get inside that eye. And then we'll run some highlights. Like when I first started at this stage, I'd go to black, thinking that's where I want the detail color to be. And it looks great, but in hindsight, you look back on it, everything looked kind of cartoony. I dare use the term, LaValle hated this term, t-shirty. Because I had that t-shirt background. And, you know, it didn't have that nice wow factor. By going straight to black. Adding black is fine. Just don't go straight to black. Like if I wanted to go one step darker, which I really don't because I think I'm fine here, I could add like a drop or two of black, or what I probably do before that, before I added regular black, I would probably add purple to it first. Like a dark purple. But you can see how that almost looks like black here. It's nowhere near it. So we'll finish this guy off on the next feed. This will give something to look forward to. Be great. And this whole painting, aside from the like 10 minutes I worked with the Micron and cleaned it out, this has all been done with one airbrush. Oh, let's see. Krios 0.18. Yeah, they work great. You know, they will definitely get the job done. And I like the assembly structure, the way the Microns are put together. Again, I don't like the SBs because they're 0.18. I like because their body size and their shape. You can put a 0.18 in anything. He looks a little bit blue. Oh my god. I'm definitely getting this feed over soon. They're Australians. It's a little after lunch and they're... CR plus 0.15, yeah. The problem is once you get that small, now you're fighting, you're actually, here's the reality. 0.18 microns airbrushes are designed for ink-like consistency. Anytime you try to run white or anything that's heavy body through it, it fights it because it's just really too small. So now the white, the pure white, you can see really pops fast. And when you're doing like texture, like here, you can see how fast that really just, it shows and pops out. And all that work we did underneath is now set up for this. And you kind of go in for those kill shots. And because I didn't use candies, I'm not worried about any... The Neos, look, the Neos is a cheap airbrush. Neos is great for modeling. Actually works pretty decent for t-shirt paint, but that's what it's for. It's for running larger paint through it. I got some detail on it. I did some videos with it. But, you know, the Neo is an entry-level brush for entry-level work. It's great. Yeah, fine ink works the best. And that's not just a I want a micron thing. That's anything running a 0.18, 0.15. That's really what they're designed to be optimized. They're optimized for that type of paint. They weren't really optimized for heavy pigmented automotive urethane. So we kind of trick it. We kind of trick it to work. And it does. But see, now this white really just pops up right where I want it. And I can really, now I can play here for hours and do all that little detail, all the little details, all the little wrinkles, and then go in for that one, like, end zone, like, shot. You know, where I can just tone some things out. Yeah, we might bring a little purple in here, and even to spice up maybe a little magenta in some areas. But now it's just, I can just spend hours here at this stage. Yes, airbrushes. I like that one of Micron C then. Yeah, I go through phases, like, you know, when I want the white to be more opaque faster, and I don't need it super thin, I'll use an eclipse because I can run the white at a heavier opacity through an eclipse or a C+, or like a 0.23 micron, you know, C, than the 0.18. It just depends. And sometimes you're just a micron snob, and that's okay. Like, I'm more of an Iwata snob now. I've used all the copies. I've used all the variant versions from back in the day when it was Rich Pen, and then it was Peak, and now it's Krios, and it's Mr. Airbrush, and it's Mr. This. So it's all the same thing. I've used them all, and they work great. But Iwata's always been there for availability and parts and support and everything else. And that's the difference. Like I said, we talked about private labeling easier. I could private label anything. Tape, airbrushes, parts. Give it a name, give it no name, doesn't matter. Doesn't change. But it's funny, we're still the only industry that really talks about what brand of brush they use. Most illustrators who use paintbrushes don't talk about the brand brush much. At least not as much as our industry does about the airbrushes. And that's kind of the levels where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to smooth some toning out. But that's kind of the color value I'm going to get to towards the end. Yeah, the Olympus was nice. Olympus and Iwata shared a lot of same patterns, so they were similar. Same with forget the brand, because they're distributed through Iwata. So there's a lot of sharing going on, is kind of what I'm saying. So we're about 10 minutes till 10. Probably, yep. Alright guys, I think that's going to start wrapping it up for tonight. I gotta learn that Octopus paintings are never done in one feed. No matter how simplified I make it, and make it like a little cartoony and make it more fun, they just, when you start doing all the little suckers' legs, it's just a lot to try to get wrapped up in a 2-hour time frame. Unless I like pre-make a lot of masks and stuff, which I didn't do. But I think this session shows you a lot as far as how to go from the sketch to the transfer to this amount of stage. Had I taken that prep transfer out ahead of time, probably could have gotten to almost the end. But we'll wrap this up. The next feed And I'll keep you guys announced. It'll definitely be next Thursday, but maybe I'll do it sooner and wrap this up. I want to thank everyone for the super chats. It really made it great. The current bid is 100 on this. We're going to leave it right there, and we'll continue on next week when we wrap this thing up. So I want to thank everyone. Make sure you share, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Message me some ideas for future videos. I'm going to be editing the content from the past videos because there's a lot of videos that are coming up from there. I think I got at least 6 short ones. Because I made that little bullet hole one, which is like 5 minutes long. And it worked out great. And yeah, so keep liking, sharing, subscribing. Check out Daniel Power's stuff. Check out Gerald Mendez's workshops and classes as well. There's also a couple other cool workshops coming up. There's one at Shorty's. If you go to my Facebook page, Scott McKay, Shorty from Shorty's Custom Dream Garage, I forget the name of his show. He's doing one in June in Midland, Texas, with Armando Serrano and Dan Fontaine and Loki and Bugs. They're doing an amazing class. They have limited seats available for that. I know that Mike Learn and Nub have a guitar building class in June. That's going to be amazing as well. I think it's a 4-day guitar build class. If you guys are interested in going from like building to painting everything all in one, that's going to be an amazing program as well. There's a few other things out there in the field. So we're still doing classes. We're just not doing the big classes like the hotel stuff. We are going to be doing a rendezvous probably towards the end of summer, early fall. So keep an eye at Coast Airbrush for that. A lot of stuff happening. All right, we're still out there making content. We're just shifting the way things are done. Just because everything else is shifting. So I want to thank everyone for popping in tonight. And have an awesome weekend. And see you guys later. Have a good one.